That is the misconception.
Yeah.
Nobody, being wherever they are, can get anything greenlit today. So your dream cast is a no compromise cast, where you're not taking the person because of star power. I think the important thing for all of us, for the community, the streaming community as a whole, to understand is that we have to grow together, and that includes the platforms. You know, this antagonism and this cynicism has to be nipped in the bud. We are making the third season of Scam.
Of course.
And this time again, we are back. I'm back to directing. You know, Gandhi might be on paper far more expensive than anything I've made so far.
Yeah.
You know, the scale, the sweep, everything. But you know, it's made at a fraction of what anybody else would have made it in.
Yeah. Not to take away from your film work, but you know, you've done a lot of your finest work on streaming in long form. And
I agree with you.
I'm glad, or else that would have been awkward.
And you know, there's certain reviews that happen on a Wednesday and a Thursday, one-word reviews, and
Tweet reviews, first half review,
first
second
half
half
review, and those are all, you know, I've got rate cards for them, and I mean, good for them, but it takes away the credibility of reviewing.
The streaming show is brought to you by Mubi, your one-stop shop for meaningful cinema from around the globe. You can try Mubi for free for 30 days by visiting mubi.com/The Streaming Show 2025.
Hansal, it is so wonderful to have you on the streaming show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Suchin.
This feels long overdue for some reason. I really wanted to have you on to pick your brain on a bunch of stuff on where we are as an industry, etc. But first, I want to tell you my narrative of you over the last few years. You tell me if I'm right. You know, you were always one of our sort of bravest, most honest, most credible filmmaking voices, you know, with films like Shahid, Aligarh, Faraz. And then when the Indian streaming story took off, you became one of the standout storytellers there, one of the big showrunners with Scam and Scoop and Lootere as well. But you were that was always on the capacity of an individual filmmaker. You know, you were making one project at a time, and now it seems like you're entering your production house phase as a producer. It's Hansal Mehta, the slate, which is incredibly exciting. You know, you earlier this year, if I'm not wrong, you announced that True Story Films, your production house, has 500 crore worth of films and various projects in the air. That's what has been written.
I hate numbers. Yeah.
But basically, there's a lot going on. So firstly, congratulations on that. And are you excited for this new sort of prolific producer era of yours?
Well, you know, I've always been a producer without being one.
Yeah.
So from the time I made Dil Pe Mat Le Yaar, so I was a producer on the film, and my being a producer comes into play only when you know, the film runs into debt.
Yeah.
So I end up paying.
Yeah.
So Dil Pe Mat Le Yaar I was a producer, Simran I was a producer. I want to reverse that. Omerta I was a producer.
Yeah.
And these three films, I lost money.
Yeah.
So I wanted to reverse that, because I think, you know, there's certain things that I was doing right as a producer, which is wanting to tell those stories that no other producer would touch.
Yeah.
So this is also an attempt to do that, you know, with little more, you know, financial and you know, management power to be able to tell those stories, to facilitate those stories. So in fact, for my company, I'm directing one series at the moment, and we are producing a slew of films.
But you're not directing.
Which I'm not directing.
Okay.
Which I'm not directing.
Okay.
Other directors are working on them. Other writers. They're very exciting people. Very exciting people. I can't speak about them because they're all in various stages of announcement. As they, you know, things that I hate: announcement, box office, numbers. But those are the things that are. So my partner Sahil, who co-produced Faraz and Buckingham Murders.
Yeah.
So we decided to sort of get together to do this, because we both believed in the same stories, and Sahil is a very strong producer. So hopefully he will ensure that I don't lose any more money. Not at this age.
Fingers crossed. But no, but anytime you hear news nowadays of somebody fighting the good fight and trying to back the stories that matter, you know, I'll absolutely take the hope. Does it worry you at all that I know that you must have an entire team behind you, but the idea that, if you have a slate, sometimes quality, when a lot of filmmakers try to take on a lot, quality can suffer because you can't give it that much attention. And I know you're not directing everything, but does that concern you at all?
No, I think, the trick in all this is recruiting well.
Yeah.
Having the right people and having faith in the creative process and the creative individual. And that is what I found lacking in the past. Even when I've worked with producers, studios, I found this lack of faith. You want to control, micromanage the process, then why delegate it? Why let me do it? If you want to micromanage it, if
either trust me or don't.
Yeah, either trust me or you don't. So it is one of the things that I have done is it's instituted is that we have to trust the filmmaker, and with all our filmmakers, we've given him almost final cut. So the studio very often that sort of funds the film. I don't have bags of money, so I have a studio. These are collaborations in which we facilitate films for filmmakers. We create a development environment where scripts are developed, but we try to give them every right to have a cut that they want. So I will fight for that. I will fight for the filmmaker. I will fight for the filmmaker's belief and conviction.
I'm guessing that's the producer that you've often wished you had in the times you
Exactly.
did.
So I'm trying to be the producer that I wish I had. And I've had many good producers on this journey, and some I'm trying to emulate, some I'm trying to improve upon.
Fair. Not to take away from your film work, but you've done a lot of your finest work on streaming in long form. And
I agree with you.
I'm glad, or else that would have been awkward. But as you know, and as we've discussed before, I'm incredibly protective of that space, the kind of storytelling and talent we've seen. Scam is a fantastic example of that. But over the last 2 years, it's the era of the great contraction. Budgets have come down, shows are getting shelved, shows are getting unrenewed. That's a new term. So, and there are people in the industry, worried about how they'll pay their rent, etc. So, from a storytelling perspective, is it fair to say that the next 5 years of storytelling in series on streaming may not be as exciting as the last 5, and does that concern you?
No, I think we are entering an exciting phase. I'm always excited. Okay. So adversity for me is one of the biggest signs of this challenge that you must overcome with stories.
Interesting.
You don't overcome budgetary challenges with compromises. Overcome them with innovation. So my streaming journey technically began with Bose, Dead or Alive, where I was a showrunner.
On Alt Balaji.
On Alt Balaji. There, we had a meager budget. Yet, with the director Pulkit, we pulled off a fairly good-looking show with Rajkummar Rao.
And he put in a lot of heart into that performance.
A lot of heart in that performance, Rajkummar, heart and body in that performance, So you had Rajkummar and you had Patralekha, and you had a show which was made at a very meager budget in today's times, for today's times. Same with Scam. We made Scam knowing very well that this is going to be a tough sell. Whereas Scam was new, it was a new franchise and we did not know, the road was uncertain. Netflix, after Scam, I think Netflix came up with Sacred Games came in and the output wasn't that high. But so what do we do? You tell that best story, the best story possible. Do not pare down your ambition, but within the available resources. Use the resources well. And I think that was a good starting point. And I've stuck to that. I said, never deviate from the basics. The contraction is happening. The budgets are going down, but I've never had that liberty.
You feel like there is opportunity in the...
See, I never took that liberty. So when I made Scoop, for example, I could have made it into a star vehicle, but I did not. I said, they asked me, what is your dream cast? I said, my dream cast is what I have told you. Karishma Tanna, Harman Baweja, Zeeshan Ayyub. These are the people I want. This is my no compromise. So your dream cast is a no compromise cast, where you're not taking the person because of star power. So I've continued working that way. That hasn't changed. Luckily, those shows have done well, and they've empowered me in that journey. So even, Gandhi might be on paper far more expensive than anything I've made so far.
Yeah.
The scale, the sweep, everything. But it's made at a fraction of what anybody else would have made it in.
Yeah.
And there's no, what you should never limit is ambition. So I'm an ambitious filmmaker, and so I don't really look at money. I think money is something that you have to use carefully.
I do want to ask you about Gandhi, but just coming back to Scam for a second. Firstly, sorry, you mentioned Scoop. That Zeeshan performance is one of my favorite performances.
It is mine too.
I really love that performance. I think about.
I wish he got more love for that performance than he did that year. All the awards sort of ignored Zeeshan for some reason.
That's more on the awards than him. But no, I still think about some of those lines, some of those moments, and sort of the quietness he brought to that.
But he almost chickened out of that part.
Okay.
2 days before the
glad
shoot,
he didn't.
we did the reading.
Yeah.
He was a bit awkward during the reading, and more than awkward, he was very quiet, very reticent.
Yeah.
So we would. I used to smoke then, so I used to stand outside, smoke. I used to say, Zeeshan, something going on.
Yeah.
So we were very close.
Yeah.
I really love him.
Yeah.
Bits, I said, Zeeshan, something. You have a personal issue. He said, नहीं कुछ नहीं बस ठीक है सब ठीक है in his typical voice. And I used to wonder. So 2 days before the shoot, he said कि मुझे ना थोड़ा गड़बड़ लग रहा है, मैं ये अंग्रेजी इसमें काफ़ी है और पता नहीं, I'm playing a English newspaper का editor, मैं ठीक नहीं लग रहा हूँ. I said, Zeeshan, एक बार look at the interview of some, I named some editors, I don't want to name them right now, but I said just look at the interviews. I send him YouTube links. I said look at them and say उनकी अंग्रेजी कैसी है बता. कि being the editor of a newspaper doesn't mean that you are an orator. So he looked at it, he called me, हाँ अब confidence आ गया. And and once he was in, Zeeshan is a delight. He's an absolute delight.
You never feel that reticence on screen. Maybe it's a journalist thing, but it is such a heartbreaking performance in the best way.
It's heartbreaking, heartwarming. You actually want that kind of a friend. You want that kind of a boss.
You want those people to exist and fight the good fight.
Fight the good fight.
Even though it's exhausting. But just coming back to Scam, the urban legend within the industry, you've talked about how every platform said no to it, and apparently people got fired at platforms for sleeping.
I don't know about that.
That's what we've heard. It's a nice idea, that there was some accountability to sleeping on something so interesting and clutter-breaking. But I was talking to Pratik recently on this podcast, and we talked about the state of the industry today, and we were talking about whether could Scam get made today, and I do think it could. But the question I had was, do you think you could get Scam made today and still cast a Pratik Gandhi, a relatively lesser known face who is that good, without facing resistance?
I don't think so. I think it's easy.
You can?
We are making the 3rd season of Scam.
Of course.
And this time again, I'm back to directing.
Which I'm thankful for. The second season, 2003, was very, very sincere, and I loved Gagan's performance, but there was a Hansal-shaped hole in that show.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I reserve any comment on that. But yeah, I'm back in the 3rd season. I'm directing it. And my original writers, Sumit Purohit,
even the
and Saurav Day, and Karan Vyas, the trio is back.
Nice.
So the same original team is back, and the search for a protagonist is on.
Nice. And that you're still trying to do a new.
We will never change that.
I love that.
We will never change that. Pratik and I just keep joking that maybe you should come back. You should play every protagonist. Because Pratik is such a chameleon that you wish he played everything that you did. He's such a joy to be on set with.
But speaking of Pratik, you mentioned Gandhi, so I do want to ask you about that show. He obviously does. He's the lead of that. It's interesting to me that you have gone down the applause route with that. And I'm curious to know why, because
applause has gone down my route.
Fair enough. Okay. But what I meant was you haven't gone down the get a platform to commission it, because in my head I would have thought that Hansal Mehta being where he is today can get a show greenlit. It's such an exciting story. There's no question of it.
But that is the misconception. Nobody being wherever they are can get anything greenlit today. or any time.
Yeah.
You know, platforms work on their own set of rules, and I think somewhere you need to find that middle ground where their needs
And yours.
and my urge to tell a story sort of meet.
Yeah.
So I'm very realistic about that.
Yeah.
And I'm not cynical about it. That, you know, they have a job to do,
Yeah.
which is perhaps, you know, also act upon the insights that they derive from data. And my job is to pitch something that they believe fits into those
Where they
insights.
both meet.
Yeah, where the two meet.
Yeah.
You know, though my argument has always been that this is today's data.
Yeah.
These are insights from today. When my show will be ready 18 months later, there will be new insights.
Yeah. Scam defied algorithm, you know, that, I mean, that was never part of the
Everything that has worked so far, from Sacred Games to Family Man, still I would say had all the elements of a popular big show. But, you know, Sacred
Black
Games,
Warrant defied
Black
algorithm.
Warrant, Kohra,
Yeah.
you name, you know, all the popular shows that have happened, and Patal Lok, they've all defied all the set formulas and rules, and thank God somebody in the platforms, you know, decided to back them.
Even a
Kala
Panchayat,
Pani,
yeah,
Kala Pani
is a great
I mean,
one.
I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, it's very sad that they undoing it. Even Panchayat, I would argue, it's not technically a drama, it's not technically a comedy. It started
Panchayat
that
is Panchayat, Gullak.
Yeah.
You know, they're incredible shows.
Yeah.
I mean, The Hunt, which I recently watched.
The Rajiv Gandhi
The
assassination.
Rajiv Gandhi assassination.
Sony
I
Live.
thought it was a very, in the environment that we are in, it's a brave show.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, although it doesn't make any major political statements, it's a procedural. But it's a very brave show, and it's a very well-made show. You know, I don't see anyone commissioning that based on the script.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite example of that from this year is Black, White and Grey. I don't know if you've seen it on Sony Live. That is it's one of the most interesting true crime things I've ever seen from anywhere.
It's an absolute cracker.
Yeah.
It's a banger of a show, and something that, you know, it's one of the sleeper hits.
Yeah.
And even now we don't talk enough about that show.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm a crazy streaming consumer.
Yeah.
So, you know, when people talk insights with me, I watch everything that gets made here.
Yeah.
Almost everything.
Yeah. But no, just coming back to Gandhi, I'm just curious, you know, by working with Applause, again, you're obviously making the show first and finding a platform later. Is the reason for that a creative control thing, so you can make the show that you believe in? Is it also, I mean, the other talk is, you know, they talk about IP, that the fact is that you would then own the show and then you license it out from a producer's perspective that works out?
I mean, Samir is the ideal person to answer that question. I would not jump the gun on that, but what it does for me, Applause, I mean, I've been working with them since Applause began. My streaming journey has been sort of parallel to Applause's own, you know, growth, their own rise. So Gandhi was that, you know, they had acquired the rights to Ramchandra Guha's books, the 2 books on Gandhi, and they'd already signed Pratik. And I called Samir and said, hello, when am I in this? You've got Pratik, you've got Gandhi, and where is Hansal? So he said, I thought you were very busy. I said, I'm never too busy. I'm going to give up everything to do this. So almost 3 years of my life, at a time when, you know, people think I had a lot of output. Scoop and Buckingham Butters were made much before I got into Gandhi.
Okay.
And they were made, they were just released later. I've been working only on this. All my time, I've been consumed by this. Even now, as we speak, I'm consumed by it.
You mentioned data, and that's another thing that me and Pratik talked about, which is, you know, he was talking about how much this word is hampering storytelling. You know, the kind of decisions platforms and production houses are making, reverse engineering what they think a hit is going to be. You know, with screenwriters talk about drop off rates and all these things, and that being imposed on them when they're trying to structure a story. How much, and maybe just like a misreading of data. So, and because as you said, you know, people are looking at today and then you'll just get more of the same. So how much does that weigh on you when you are, as a producer, as a
Well,
filmmaker?
so what happens, I would rather that all these insights and everything that you derive from them, that is discussed and incorporated into what you're going to see. Streaming is a medium of discipline, of great discipline. You write, you plan, and shoot, execute. So I don't like these impromptu insights
Later.
hampering your execution.
Okay.
Because then your execution becomes half-baked.
Yeah.
And that for me is the greatest hurdle that data imposes. Particularly when you're in post-production. I'll give you an example. Lootere was stuck because after it was made, it was about Somalian pirates.
It's an
Damn it!
incredibly interesting show.
Yeah, and Somalian pirates. Damn it! Are they going to speak in Hindi?
Yeah.
So there was this whole debate about language.
Yeah.
And they said, we need to release this in Hindi, dub the entire thing in Hindi. And we put our foot down. So they just kept arguing. They even experimented with paradubbing, which you use for news and sports. So they tried paradubbing and all kinds of things which would mutilate the spirit of that show. Then they went in for some focus groups. And the focus groups in tier 2 cities, when they were asked, who is your favorite character? They said Bargat, the Somalian, the pirate, the main pirate was their favorite character. So I said, listen, he's talking in English. How is he their favorite character? So this entire insight that you have that, they are Hindi speaking audiences and they want Hindi speaking characters. No, they want characters that they find interesting.
It's rare for someone to have a good focus group story, so I'm glad that.
So I'm not a big fan of. I don't know how these focus groups come together,
but that's a wonderful.
The focus groups supported our theory, and which is how, after nearly a year of argument over language, the show actually saw light of day. Yeah. And yet, honestly, the show did not get the love it deserved from the platform. It was released apologetically.
Okay.
It was released on a weekly basis. It's a show that should have been binged.
Yeah.
It's a show that should have been released all at once.
Absolutely.
But somebody believed that the strategy should have been to release it on a weekly.
Also, it's structured like a real-time thriller, right? You're placing us on that boat in a tense
and then I have to wait for a week for the next episode.
It takes
I thought it was, a lot of effort that was not backed with conviction.
Yeah. You have worked with almost every platform. You obviously have shows on Netflix. You have a series deal at Netflix. Amazon, you've done Modern Love Mumbai. You've done obviously Sony Live.
I also did Chalang for Amazon.
Yes, that's true. Which was an acquisition, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask you your experience with the various platforms, or will I get shot?
No. Each of them is different.
Yeah.
I have a very good relationship with all the executives at the platforms. We fight, we argue, and everywhere.
Yeah.
Sony Live is a different. We sort of saw success together.
Yeah. Also,
we saw that meteoric rise.
Because you put them on the map, but that seems to be the one place in town where they seem to really give a shit about the underdog. That's the sense I get.
Well, they give a shit about stories.
Yeah.
And they're still very instinctive. Danish, who heads Sony Live, is perhaps one of the most instinctive guys around, very astute on the business front, yet very sensitive towards storytellers. He does not want to control the process.
Yeah.
Even Shogato is very respectful of the process. Yeah. So that thin line between control and monitoring, they tread that thin line very well.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes platforms can cross that line, and I don't think. There's nothing against that. They have a job to do, but I believe that it kills the spirit of collaboration.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, my experience has been, I mean, Netflix gave me Scoop, you know, so while Scam saw great success, I love Scam for its audacity. You know, we made it, and when I look at it, it's a very audacious show. But I thought Scoop was far more me in terms of how refined it was.
Yeah.
You know, the storytelling was elegant.
Am I right in understanding there is a second Scoop coming our way, or are we? That's just me assuming. Okay, cool.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Okay. Let me say it. It is.
Okay.
It's in the works. It should be. It's very interesting what we are doing.
And I'm guessing it's a new story within.
It's a completely new story. So it's a
scam.
It's like a scam kind of where there are new stories coming out. It's very exciting. What we're doing is very exciting. I've been talking to Netflix saying, you know, why don't we repeat the same cast in newer characters? Like, you know, like American Crime. You know, you have the same characters and you repeat them. But let's see. I mean, it's very early days. But yeah, we are working on a new season of Scoop. And Scoop is a very beloved show. You know, and when it came out, Netflix backed it. Netflix backed it and said that, you know, we are not sure whether this show is that breakthrough popular show, but we love the show.
I love that.
You know, so I have to give it to them that they backed it with that kind of conviction. And of course, the show went on to win some really important awards. We did something right with Scoop. And so, I mean, Netflix made that show. Amazon, I haven't worked enough. But the new team at Amazon, I mean, even the earlier team, Aparna and I had been talking. So, I'll let you in on something. We almost made Scoop for Amazon.
Oh, wow.
It was commissioned by Amazon. There was some financial, you know, term which the producers of Scoop did not agree to. And Netflix had, you know, bid for the show also, and it went to Netflix. So it sort of became, it went to Netflix in a bidding war almost.
That must feel great for you to have a bidding war over your work.
Well, I just, I'm happy that I got to make it. You know, that kind of a, it was not an easy script, you know. It was very easy to make a show that dealt with gangsters and had the underworld.
You can see the more conventional version of that show.
You can easily, you know, cut to Chota Rajan, cut to Dawood Ibrahim, you can cut to all that. I told Mrinmay, my brief was, I want to see all that taking place in a newsroom.
I like that you couldn't easily put that show in a box, you know, structure-wise, otherwise.
Structure-wise,
it's not.
I know, Mrinmay is a very special writer. You know, so I enjoy working. See, the joy of streaming is that you can explore characters, multiple characters, multiple structures. You know, have these multiple feature films. So I don't like making short. So even in Modern Love, mine was the longest story. You know, so I don't like making very, like when people tell me 22, 23-minute episodes, I say that is TV. I don't, I enjoy binging long shows, you know, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 1 hour. I find that, you know, fascinating to watch.
You've mentioned execs a few times at the various platforms. You know, I'm curious to know, there's always going to be a lot of friction between filmmaking community and execs, the pitching. Everyone has those stories of the feedback and the funny stuff. But, you know, in Hollywood, there is a long sort of lineage of exec culture. You know, there's a lot of wisdom there. There's a long pipeline of people who know what they're talking about. Do you feel, because streaming is still only like a couple of, 6, 7 years old, less than a decade, do you feel like we have a strong exec pipeline here of those people who can really sort of have those creative conversations when something is being pitched, find the best version of the series, or find that middle ground, as you said, between what they want and what is being pitched?
I think it's a two-way street. You see, the executives are not born. You know, the executives get created over a period of time. And, you know, everybody, we did not have, unfortunately, television did not nurture either the storytelling or the storytellers or the execs who could understand that kind of storytelling. So, unfortunately, we lost a good 15 to 20 years in the kind of television that did not match up to what streaming is supposed to expect from stories,
Cinematic
or storytellers,
TV, yeah.
cinematic TV.
Yeah.
So it did not match up to that. You know, nothing against that TV. It's okay. I mean, it had its audience, it had its moment, and it was wildly successful. I think the important thing for all of us, for the community, the streaming community as a whole, to understand is that we have to grow together, and that includes the platforms. You know, this antagonism and this cynicism has to be nipped in the bud. We have to get rid of it, otherwise we will land up in the days of television. You know?
The other thing that's interesting about streaming is the lack of data, the lack of transparency, and there's a lot from my perspective of advantages and disadvantages. Advantage being that it can't be a box office spectator sport for audiences who can just go by that, which is great. But from the other perspective, it means that you have platforms claim all kinds of hilarious things. Sometimes the joke I always make is the success party comes before the trailer launch. Also for me, what really matters is I would hope the filmmakers get the data of how successful that is, because even from if I've made Panchayat or Mirzapur or Scam for a platform, I'd want to know they deserve to be, whether it's a budget perspective, whether it's getting paid, etc. So are you told as a filmmaker, are you told how well things
we don't get very quantitative data.
Okay.
It's all very qualitative,
Okay.
very subjective.
Okay.
So there we get interpretation.
Okay.
So I mean, I think I'm okay getting subjective data, because ultimately data and numbers should not be my concern.
True, but would you not want to know from a pure, is it a success? How widely is it watched? Do these things?
Well, you see, the fact that a second season is commissioned is your benchmark.
So it's a yes, no.
Yeah, so I feel that one has to keep it simple, especially as a creator.
Yeah.
You have to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Like even when I make movies, people ask me, why are you making this film? How much do you expect on the box office? I said, I want this to enable me to make the next film.
Fair.
So whatever it does,
Yeah.
whether it's licensing fee or whatever it does, should enable my next film. If it stops me from making my next film, then I failed.
I get that, and I don't even mean that in a numbers perspective of box office, but would you not be curious to know because
I'm curious.
How would a Lootere be compared to a Scam, compared to a Scoop?
Yeah, so so I would rather have solid data than empirical or selective data. My problem is that you see, so there is this whole streaming list that comes out, the Ormax
list. Yeah.
So I have a problem with that. I mean, I don't know what the sample size is.
Yeah, it's an estimation, they say.
It's an estimation based on a sample size. Who is the sample? What is the methodology? So, and a reason I'll tell you, I have a history with data. Okay, I come from a data background. I used to write market research software.
Okay.
As a computer programmer.
Okay.
And I sort of made, in the 90s, I made India's perhaps only indigenous market research, dedicated market research platform. So I understand a thing or two about data, and I also realize that how data can be misleading. That people can take the same data and show success and show failure. The same data.
You can just twist it however you want.
It's interpretation.
Yeah.
It's interpretive. So I think ultimately what platforms look for is return on investment. Okay. And that is my understanding of their interpretation of data. That this show, how many new subscribers did it get, and how many people watched the show. So that completion rates. So those two things, I think, drive their further decisions. And I think we have to, simple storytelling. If somebody is going to leave my film before the interval, then I have failed somewhere.
Yeah.
Similarly, if somebody is dropped out in the first 30 minutes of my first episode, then there is a problem. So convert that into basic storytelling, and I don't think you will fail. So I'm not cynical about it. I am cynical when somebody starts giving you inputs based on that. So there, I do have my arguments.
Tell me the problem, not your solution. Is that fair?
Tell me the problem, and let's find a solution together.
Okay.
Don't make it into a commandment. So there are no commandments. It changes. It's a ever evolving world. Things change. Things move differently. So you have to be ready, and we are the change makers. Who are the change makers? The people who tell stories. They are the change makers. Allow them to make that change.
We talked about cinematic TV and sort of a lot of the execs coming from that space. Another big narrative around the streaming ecosystem in the last 2 years is this idea of moving towards television. TV Plus is the new buzzword, that you have platforms like JioHotstar who were apparently saying that that's what they want. Longer, whatever, 20, 30 episodes, a sensibility that looks like what network television was. And it seems like a lot of Netflix's recent decisions align to that. So does that scare you in terms of the overall landscape? Does that scare you that there is a bigger push towards TV? And does that mean cinematic
I'll tell you
TV?
for me, what TV Plus means is lesser budgets.
Okay.
It's TV budgets. So little more than TV budgets.
Okay.
So that, in a simple manner, that is TV Plus for me.
Okay.
So that you give more episodes for lesser amount of money.
Got it.
So that is one. That is for me, that is TV Plus. Now, how you tell the story is up to you.
So does that mean that if you're saying it's primarily a budget term, does that mean that if I'm a screenwriter or a filmmaker, if I want to make Cora or Scam or Scoop or Made in Heaven or whatever it is, but I can make it at a modest budget in quotes, then they should be happy. It's still that sensibility.
Well, the modest, they would love having you make it at a modest budget, and nothing wrong. It's a business that we are running. So we have to crack that budget model yet. It's not easy because there was an interim period of streaming where everybody thought the next that gold rush was streaming, and there was this mad rush for money, thinking that all the money is in streaming. So many actors and stars began to assume that streaming is going to pay you a lot. So that correction has not really set in. So I think this correction is more for those who believe that the pot of gold is all lying in the streaming space.
Correct.
So that needs to rationalize.
Which feels like a lot of the pandemic era.
Post-pandemic, post-pandemic, it became madness. And fortunately, because what I did after Scam, there was a lot of temptation. There was a lot of money coming my way. I made Faraz, which was a low-budget film with newcomers, and everybody said, "Are you mad? Why are you making this?" I said, "I want to make this. I've kept these boys waiting for the entire pandemic. Now we have to make this." So I made it look like my duty, but I wanted to sort of be grounded. And then I made Scoop, which I made on my own terms. So for that I had to, so it was at a fraction of the budget that my other counterparts were getting. All those who, the contemporaries who made the bigger shows. I did not get that kind of money, and I'm happy with that. I still get the same amount of money. So I don't work at lower budgets anymore because the budget was always that much. So I try to keep that balance.
Speaking of Faraz, I did want to ask you, something that, as I was telling you earlier, we always look forward to from a Hansal Mehta project is casting, and how you present actors. But also, there's so much talent that you have, in quotes, launched. Pratik Gandhi is a fantastic example. He was obviously a working actor before, but this put him on the map. Rajkummar Rao as well through Shahid. Obviously, he was in LSD and Gangs, but this was, the big breakout, if you can call it that. With Faraz, there was Zahan Kapoor, of course. There was Aditya Rawal, who's an actor I'm a big fan of. So I'm curious to know, when there is such exciting voices, do you track their careers after that? Do you feel a sense of pride, and when you see them go, is there a sense of responsibility? What happens when you're launching this exciting new talent that people take up? What happens after that?
I think it's very symbiotic.
Yeah.
They serve a purpose in my life.
Yeah.
I serve a purpose in their life.
Yeah.
And then my guru is Mahesh Bhatt. So he says, we are all on a journey. We were co-travelers on a journey, and the journey is over, and your journey, my journey.
Okay.
So it's that for me. I let them follow their own journey. If they seek advice, I give it to them.
Okay.
If they don't, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But I don't like to control the careers of people who work with me. I just like to work with them again, because you develop a relationship that you want to take to the next level. But if the other person is not reciprocating that, it's okay. Everybody has their own plans. So I let them follow that, and whenever you want, come back. If there's something, we'll work together.
Okay.
So it's just so happens that Raj and me worked together for many years until Chalang, and so did so Pratik and I are working together.
For the third time, if I'm not wrong.
More than that, this is the Gandhi is the fifth.
Oh, okay.
Thing. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did Scam,
Modern Love.
Modern Love. Then we did a film called Circle, a short film called Circle, which never.
Okay.
It's a very political film, so I don't think.
That'll get released.
I'm hoping it's a comedy.
Okay.
It's a comedy that we have made. It's a satire. It's a comedy. It's really funny.
Yeah. Is this part of an anthology or something?
Well, it was supposed to be, again, me being me, made it into a feature-length film. So a feature that we shot in 7 days.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I hope we get to watch that one
It's
day.
great. I'll send it to you. Just watch it.
Yeah, I'd love
It's
to.
got Pratik, Rajpal Yadav,
Oh, wow.
and Deven Bhojani. So it's very funny. It's
Yeah.
very irreverent.
Yeah.
And it's also political.
Yeah.
So we've done that. We've done Gandhi. So I've lost count actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, of what.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 or 5 things we've done together,
Yeah.
Pratik and me, and we continue working together.
Yeah. I did also want to shift gears and talk to you about the theatrical space. I'm assuming as part of your production house, you're going to be working on theatrical as well as streaming projects too. I was talking to Karan recently on this podcast. We were talking about Malayalam cinema, and I was asking him, apart from the quality of those films, which is insane, and forget star fees, the budgets at which they're able to pull off such scale and such style is insane. So I was trying to understand what lessons can be learned from that, because there are so many recent films where the box office seems so healthy, and then somebody tells you what the budget was, and you get shocked. And so I just wonder what can be done in that space. I mean, you've talked in the past about Shahid was made on a budget of 35 lakhs, if I'm not wrong. So how do we do that? Because that's an issue that seems to keep coming up.
I think story first is the most important thing.
Okay.
That comes first. Story first, then budget.
Yeah.
You make, if you believe that this story has to be told, then find a budget in which it can be made. So Shahid was budgeted initially at 4 crores, 4.5 crores. It was not a feasible film at that cost. So with a star, it was coming to 10 crores. It was still not feasible. It would have been a failure. The storytelling, everything would have been compromised. The producer believed in the film but said there's not enough money for this. I asked him, how much do you have? He said less than 1 crore. I made the first copy in 35 lakhs. UTV acquired it for 1 crore plus, and we paid everyone a meager amount of money, and everybody was happy. The film gave us much more than we expected from it. And I think that's what Malayalam cinema tells us. It teaches us that, story first.
But can you do that today? Can in today's environment, can a film like Shahid be made? Forget the sort of the themes of the film, in that sort of budget or any sort of modest budget, and find that wide a release and find
It
the
can.
audience?
I think it can.
Theatrically?
It can.
Okay.
It can if it's done correctly. I see the wide release. Shahid should not have had a wide release.
Okay.
It should have had a more limited
Yeah.
release. Like that same year, you had Ship of Theseus releasing, very, very moderate release. Even Lunchbox had a very small release. Shahid surprisingly had a very wide release. We had 1,500 screens, which is not something for that film. But it did okay. I mean, it didn't really have a big theatrical run. It's later on that the film it's a gift that it keeps giving. So films are not made one for the weekend. They're made for the long run. Shahid has recovered its cost over and over again with its licensing and streaming rights, satellite rights, other things. So I think it's just choosing the right stories, fixing the right budgets, and finding the right partners to work with.
But you do think there is, in 2025, hope for the, in quotes, small film theatrically?
I don't think films are small.
Yeah,
They're small or big, no. I think the idea has to be big. You have to be ambitious.
My point is, any film that doesn't involve somebody having an 8-pack with massive biceps killing people in slow motion, like anything that is the mid-budget.
Well, that film is also, that is a different film, and that film should also exist.
Yeah, of course.
So
but
I mean, we are producing a couple of big ticket films. But again, in that we are trying to tell a new story. We are doing that.
But I just meant the mid-budget film that was often the best film of every year.
Well, Madgaon Express
Yeah.
is an example, great example.
Good example.
Very moderately budgeted and a successful film. Not a 150 crore, 200 crore film, but it did not need that kind of, number for it to exhibit success.
Okay.
So I think we need to understand, we need to redefine our expectations from success.
Okay.
What do you define as success? Success is how much return on investment is the film giving you. So your investment has to be, so it's very simple business, minimize risk and maximize profit.
Yeah. So you can't compare Madgaon Express by the same metric that you would look at a Sayyara or a Stree.
You can't compare a Madgaon Express with Stree. Sayyara is a different case.
Yeah.
A Madgaon Express you can't compare with a Stree 2.
Yeah.
Stree was a runaway hit. It was a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
So, but with a Stree 2 you cannot compare. You cannot compare it with Bhool Bhulaiya.
Yeah.
Which
is a massive.
Which these are big, much bigger films. And all of them, I mean, Son of Sardar 2, for example, you cannot equate that to a Madgaon Express.
Yeah.
I feel there's a space for both those films. I mean, I'm a big Anis Bazmi fan, by the way. Anis Bazmi and David Dhawan, I mean, me and my AD team watch scenes from Hasina Maan Jayenge all the time.
At their best, absolutely, no argument there. Yeah.
At their best,
and
Anis Bazmi is on a roll.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, I really enjoy the way he executes comedy.
Yeah.
So he's for me he's the Abbas Mastan of comedy. So I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I don't have I'm not apologetic about wanting to back a film like that. But I feel it has to be made in a budget that we can make money out of, and that does not rely on one person's star power to pull audiences in, which is where I said Sayyara is a separate conversation.
Yeah, because
Sayyara is conviction.
Yeah.
Aditya Chopra, Akshay Vidani, and Mohit Suri.
Yeah.
And Mohit Suri, I mean that, they together have backed the film. You don't like the film, but they've backed something that they believed in. They've backed the director completely. His music, his passion, they've backed it. And I think also it's not, I know that the numbers, the film's budget is very reasonable. Mohit was used to say that, I don't have enough money to make the film. And I think that's good. It's a good place to be in, not to have enough money to make the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where you find yourself getting most creative.
Yeah. You mentioned Sitaare Zameen Par, you've also posted about the film and what it does for distribution. I'm curious to know, I mean, it's still very recent. What is the lesson to be taken away from this sort of new distribution model of pay-per-view? What gives you hope about it?
Well, for one, it opens up the avenue for a lot of these smaller budgeted, medium budgeted films. You see, how did Malayalam cinema become a national phenomenon? Because of COVID,
streaming.
all of us started watching Malayalam films. Fahad Fasil became
Household
an
name.
overnight household name. Nimisha Sajayan, God bless her.
Yeah, she's excellent.
Became like this superstar. So we knew all these names, we knew all these films because of that period. I think without the pandemic, pay-per-view is one of the avenues that can be explored for smaller films. And I can make a film and I can put it on YouTube. It's your own theatre. Because the cost of going to the theatre has become prohibitive.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the theatrical space is reserved for audiences that can afford the cost of going to the theatre.
And there's a big audience you're then alienating.
So you're alienating an audience that wants to go week after week. So then what do? Will the theatre owners come down on pricing? Whenever they do, the footfalls have increased. When they have that 99 rupees
once a year, cinema
day, when they have buy one get one free, all those days you have increased footfalls. But there is no initiative from their end to reduce ticket admission rates because they have overheads. We've made cinema going into this expensive experience, and I am to blame. I mean, I like watching films on a recliner.
Yeah.
You know, I'm spoiled.
Yeah.
But how many of us, you know, can spend that kind of money? I also, it pinches me.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched F1 recently, and I paid some 2,000 rupees,
Yeah.
and I took my entire team of assistants to watch it, and we spent nearly 30,000 rupees.
Bloody hell.
And you know, I still
Yeah, I can imagine.
feel that, you know, we should have gone Dutch. So it's not
Yeah, yeah.
it's not easy.
40% of the success of that film is you and your team watching it. Yeah, you're giving it thumbs
Yeah,
up.
lot of us, you know,
Yeah.
people like us, you know, fans of Brad Pitt and that kind of film. We wanted to go and watch it. You know, we all Top Gun fans,
Yeah.
wanting to go and watch this. So it's a expensive proposition. Then what do? How do I take it to the audience that wants to watch films but can't really spend? She is not expected to spend that kind of money.
Yeah.
There are two ways. One is YouTube, this pay-per-view model, because you know, streaming also has a limited appetite for films. They don't acquire that much. They acquire a limited number of films,
Yeah.
and they're mostly the star vehicles that they acquire, or they produce their own originals, which is also a limited number. The slate is barely 8 to 10 films a year,
Yeah.
whereas the appetite for watching is much higher.
Yeah.
You know, so I think what YouTube pay-per-view is replacing is some of the poor quality camera print, torrent downloading audience. You know, you're trying to convert them.
Yeah.
Where
they maybe a lot of them will pay for convenience and a good experience.
And it's so, like, you know, I went through this whole Sitaare Zameen Par experience. The payment was seamless. You know, it was seamless. I paid 100 rupees. The film was for me to see. I watched it. You know, Aligarh. I've purchased it from the Apple library.
Okay.
Because that's the best quality and the uncensored version. It's there in the Apple iTunes library. So I've purchased it. I don't have a Blu-ray. I don't have a copy of the film.
Oh, okay.
So my only copy is the one that I've purchased from Apple.
That sounds wrong in so many ways.
699 rupees.
But why? Why don't you have?
Well,
Just one of those?
I always move on. And sometimes it's careless. You know, I sometimes regret it because I can't find a copy of any film.
Okay.
So Shahid, you know, these boys at VHS wanted to do a screening.
Yeah.
It was a huge struggle. I'm finding the owner of the film.
Yeah.
Because it was acquired by UTV, which was acquired by Disney, which partnered with Disney. Then it became Disney. Then Disney got acquired by Fox. Fox, which got acquired by Star, which got acquired by Jio.
Yeah.
So who the hell is the owner?
Yeah.
So can you believe it? I
Like
had
tracing
to,
a family tree.
Yeah, so I found somebody, and they said, let me see if we have a copy. You know, they had to look for the film, which is why it's not on streaming, because the streamers, Sony Live, for example, told me that they can't find the film. So I had to really struggle to find the film, and I almost gave up.
Yeah.
So finally, I found it at Jio, and guess, I mean, I found it very embarrassing. I had to message Uday Shankar.
Oh shit.
And tell him that, listen, I've got my film is with you guys. And he said, look, I run a very large organization. I don't know, but let me find out. Tell me more about your film. So I sent him details, and sure enough, I mean, when the boss calls, somebody calls you back.
Please go on some torrent website, find Aligarh and download it before Apple disappears from the face of the planet or something. Just
Yeah, well,
something, because
I actually move on, you know. So again, it's with Eros.
yeah.
Okay, which itself,
Is another,
you don't know whether they are there or not. You know, which is a pity, because they, I mean, supported Aligarh unconditionally. You know, they allowed me to make that film. You know, very, very unconditionally.
Yeah.
They did not ask me who the actors were. I narrated the story to them in 2.5 minutes. And Kishore Nulla said, okay, how much money do you need? I told him a budget. He said, okay, go ahead, make it.
Those are the dream meetings. Like, that's how you wish it happens. Yeah.
It happened. I mean, you know, of course, I've learned, and I always tell filmmakers, you know, give people an offer they cannot refuse.
Yeah.
Give producers an offer they cannot refuse. If you have budgeted the film at 10, tell them I'll make it in 3. and you'll know there'll be a way to make it.
Yeah. Either way, I'm going to track down Aligarh somewhere on torrent and find it and give it to you so you have it safely. I also wanted to ask you about something else you tweeted about marketing. You know, you said, you just asked the question, you said, do these generic template promotions for films and series actually work? Do they make people watch? Do they make any of the films and shows better? Or do they simply sustain an ecosystem built on illusion? PR agencies, costume designers, event planners, etc. It all just looks like success. So what do we do about that world? Do you feel like marketing needs to be overhauled in some way in terms of helping promote films?
I just feel that it's a lot of effort and money that is wasted.
Yeah.
You know, so what happens typically is 3 to 4 weeks before, you know, it starts with the trailer launch, where you gather, you meet the same people, and you're at this theater, and the PR agencies, the photographers, the same journalist friends, asking the same questions, and you answering the same questions, standing there, talking about how difficult it was to make the film, and the actor talking about character, about look, about transformation.
Pranks, lots of pranks.
Pranks on set, the same thing.
Yeah.
It's so repetitive. So my question was, does the audience really care?
Because the trailer
about that?
ultimately will speak for itself.
Yeah, let the trailer speak. You know, release the trailer, amplify that. How does that trailer reach the audience? You know, focus on that. I mean, why are we putting ourselves out there? You know, it kills the mystery of the actor. It kills the mystery surrounding the people who have made the film. You know, Mohit Suri gave his first interview after Sayyara was released.
And none of the actors
The
spoke
actors
before.
still haven't.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're waiting for the theatrical window to end.
Yeah.
For the actors to speak. So, see, that just goes to show that a good film. How often do you see Ranbir Kapoor?
Yeah.
And of late, you see a little more of him. How often do you see him?
Yeah.
How often do you see Ranveer Singh?
Yeah.
You know, so if you, I think the focus has to be on making the film, on the craft, and how do you create material that reaches an audience and tells them why they should watch the film. And I don't think any of these things, you know, the templates. So we do a city tour, we travel around the country, malls, and take selfies with some 2,000 people. We believe that is success. No, that's hired. You know, everybody who's standing there, this is a hired crowd. You know, and people taking selfies with them. It's all fake.
It gives the illusion of promotion, I guess.
Yeah, it also makes the star, the actor believe that he's a star. So everybody lives in that fake illusion. Yeah, oh, he has arrived. And none of that exists.
In the same tweet, you also talked about paid reviews. I know this is not your world, but I have to ask you, as a filmmaker, what do we do about this world? Because again, you know, it really feels like journalism, much of it, film journalism is paid marketing at this point. I mean, is there any hope? Is it? Can you? How much can you control the
Again,
narrative?
so the moment you shift this narrative, you know, where PR does not drive a film's campaign. So this has become part of the PR machinery. So I used to work with a PR agency, and every time I would tell them that, look, we have achieved this milestone. You know, for us, did not do very well in the theaters, but when it came on streaming, it had a moment. So I said, you know, we should talk about it. So I had a rate card. They said, okay, we'll get so and so influencer, these people to talk. It was, so I had packages, 15 lakhs, from 5 lakhs to 25 lakhs. I said, this is not even my fees for the film.
You should become an influencer.
I can't afford this. Why? You know, so, but they said, no, this is necessary, otherwise these guys won't write. So you realize that they are feeding off each other. It's feeding, so it's now magnified because there's an entire industry that is thriving on it. I don't mind it thriving, but it is actually costing films their credibility. It is costing stories their truth.
And honesty
we are
becomes...
living in untruth. You know, we are living in this fake, this make-believe that, you know, there's certain reviews that happen on a Wednesday and a Thursday, one-word reviews. And
tweet reviews, first half review,
first
second
half
half.
review, and those are all, I've got rate cards for them, and I mean good for them, but it takes away the credibility of reviewing. I'll truth be told, I still take some reviews seriously, and on the release day, so a day before release, I leave the city. I go somewhere.
Okay.
I go into a hotel room,
Okay.
lock myself up. I switch my phone off.
Sounds very healthy.
It's very unhealthy.
No, it sounds
because,
necessary.
No, because it's running in my mind.
Yeah.
So I keep getting tempted to call somebody and ask what's going on. Don't tell me, but tell me what's going on. It's horrible.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's. But I still go through those butterflies every time something is released, because there are some voices that while I disagree with them, I violently disagree. Some I get very angry with, but at least they have an opinion.
Yeah.
And that is a lot to say in today's times, that people, a paid opinion is not an opinion.
Yeah. Also, I mean, for me, it just comes down to raising the conversation around movies, and your films in particular, these are the kind of films you deserve a discussion. It really deserves.
And that was the sad part. You see, like Faraz, I keep coming back to Faraz because it hurts me sometimes.
Yeah.
That the entire discussion was down to a binary.
Yeah.
It's about Muslim terrorists. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
So very few, select few got it. And I was happy to read that people have actually looked into the film.
Yeah.
They've read the film for what it is and for what it is not. Everything. I accept everything. Like Scoop, I remember your review for Scoop, where you enjoyed most part of it, and a part of it in the jail you found very melodramatic, and you found it jumping genre.
Yeah.
And it was a fair criticism, but eventually it left you satisfied.
Very much so, yeah.
Very satisfied. So, I mean, that is, for me, that is constructive.
Yeah.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
We are talking about, it's worth talking about. And I feel that your work should be worth talking about.
Yeah.
And like, it's a favorite David Fincher story, Fight Club at Venice, people walking out, and Brad Pitt saying, this is the best film I'll ever be a part of. So, I mean, that is, at least people walked out. People had strong opinions about it.
Yeah. Just looking ahead, I just want to talk about all the projects that you have talked about at some point. It's a very long list, so let's try and do this. There is obviously Scoop, you've mentioned, Gandhi you've mentioned, you're doing a Netflix show with Vijay Verma and Anil Kapoor.
I have not said this.
Okay. That's what the internet is saying.
Yes, the internet is saying this reportedly, and hopefully by the time this is out,
it'll be
announced.
There is a Hindi adaptation of a Sri Lankan film, Tentigo, if I'm not pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah, Tentigo.
There is, you're co-producing an independent film.
So that Tentigo's adaptation is being directed by me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're co-producing an independent film by Shashank Walia. This is where it gets crazy. At one point in an interview, you've said an action film, an outrageous comedy, a slasher film, an unusual twisted love story, a zombie film, an adaptation with Saif that you'll direct, and a Gujarati film.
Yeah.
That's all.
They're all in various stages of production right now.
Okay.
Of pre-production and production. Yeah.
Okay. So these are all happening.
Yeah, most of them are happening. Shashank's film is ready.
Yeah.
The screener will be ready to go out to the festivals soon. It's a stunning little film.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that I got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I'm happy I'm a part of all these things
that
are being made. They're very exciting. I mean, if after this is over, I'll tell you who's directing the love story that I'm producing.
Oh, nice. The twisted love story.
Well, it's twisted. It's a very unique story. It's written by Karan Vyas.
Okay. Scam.
Of Scam. And it's like very, very well written. Very well written. And it's directed by somebody I look up to.
Yeah.
I mean, I said, I'm going to take time off and be on the set to learn from him.
Yeah. But it sounds like you got your work cut out for you. It's a very busy, exciting slate, very diverse as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I have nothing to do with it. I want to watch those movies. These are movies that I want to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the zombie dystopian film is very ambitious, and that is happening. That's happening middle of next year.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Just lastly, before I let you go, what's one thing you would change about the industry and how it functions today?
I don't think I would change the industry. I'm in my 31st year in this industry since Khana Khazana, and it's given me a lot. For a computer programmer who had no business being here in a world which is ruled by families that knew the ropes, they allowed me to learn the ropes, allowed me to stumble, to fail, to falter, to learn, to succeed, and to fail again. I mean, why would I change a place that has allowed me to do that?
But you can be grateful and also wish that some things were slightly different, no?
Well, that is always there. I mean, Gulzar Saab's famous line, "Thoda hai, thode ki zarurat hai." So I do feel that there is little more. We give enough credit to the people who collaborate on making all the work that we do. It's always a battle, like crediting writers. Of course, now they're credited much more than they would be, say, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it feels better, but the battle continues.
And it's not only writers, So writers are vocal. They've found a voice. But cinematographers, I mean, some of the most striking work has come from India. I mean, when you will see Gandhi, you'll realize Pratik Mehta's work is outstanding, as good as anything that you'll see anywhere in the world. They deserve to be celebrated. Editors are completely invisible, and streaming particularly, the editor has the most difficult task on this because he's the last bastion.
And he's shaping the series.
He's shaping the series, he's shaping the narrative. There are multiple characters. It's not one focus. So, editors, we don't celebrate them enough. Sound designers, we don't celebrate them enough. And we often want to relegate their names to end credits, And platforms say it's a mandate very often. So on Scoop, I only had the title Scoop in the beginning of the show because there was a mandate that only some names could go in the opening credits. So I said then everybody, including me, goes in the end credits. I'm not putting my name in the opening credits if I'm not able to credit some of these amazing people. My sound designer, my production designer, if those names are going to go in the end credits, people like the post-production supervisor, they toil until it's delivered to the platform, and I mean the technical standards have gone to another level now. From the time we were doing TV to now, the adherence to technical standards, I mean that's what international platforms have given us. A lot of discipline. At the same time, it's very tedious. So why do I have to give that person this credit which comes after a studio's marketing and accounts team?
Sorry, one last thing that popped into my head. You said something very interesting in an interview recently. You talked about how acting and actors have changed, and you said that there's a lot more professionalism now, but the passion has gone. The passion is less. What did you mean by that?
I think it was a sweeping. I don't remember the context in which I said it, but yes, I just feel that people are very professional these days, and there are still passionate actors. But I've suddenly, this is what I've observed. Actors have become more concerned. So you talk to an actor, and he'll come and say, "Oh, this might not work with the audiences and all." So they have started to sort of become project makers because
less trust,
and also money has become such a key factor in the decisions that they take.
We're talking about like stars or like
even actors.
Okay.
Serious actors.
Okay.
So they've become so cautious about their choices because their price is determined by how much this one does. And I keep telling them, I said, So many of them, I tell them, listen, make all your money. When you're done with all that, come back to me.
Because if that's your priority, why would I make a shayad as an actor? Why would something like that?
So then I have to find somebody as hungry as Rajkummar.
Yeah.
You know, I have to find somebody as hungry as one actor who I've known for more than 30 years, Manoj Bajpayee. His hunger never is insatiable. Even Raj, Pratik, good actors are hungry. But yes, I don't know why I said that. But I think it's something to do. I think it was comparing, say, Dilip Kumar and because my favorite actor of all time is Dilip Kumar.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I just feel maybe I felt something at that time. I don't know, or I was pissed off about something. So a lot of things that I say, the problem with what you say on social media is that it's never erased.
It lives with you.
It lives with you, and there are times I have controlled myself of late.
I can imagine. Are people telling you like, please be careful? Or?
They've been telling me for years, but I still don't. I speak my mind out. So people think like I just posted something on Sitaare Zameen Par. They think I've been paid for it. Like Adolescence, I wrote a piece. People thought I was plugging it for somebody.
That's when we have no credibility left. Journalism-wise, filmmakers-wise, that's exactly what an audience will assume. How can someone actually respond to storytelling? Must be paid, must be marketing.
Yeah. Or I want Amir to be in my next film. No. I don't. I'm somebody who makes films because I love films. And I express my love for them through this platform. If I don't like something, I don't say it. Because I'm not paid to watch films and write about them even if I hate them.
Because then you'd be on that rate card and you'd be like...
No, even if I'm not on the rate card, I'm paid to write about films, It's a very... It's not an easy ask to watch sometimes, 4 films a week, and out of which all 4 are terrible. But you have to watch them and you have to write about them. Which is why, your friend Rahul, I love reading him because he finds humor in that. It's something that Khalid used to do a lot. So he's trashed some of my films very badly. There's a film called Ye Kya Ho Raha Hai, which Khalid had trashed really badly.
That's a bad title for a review. That review headline writes itself.
Like, but it was a terrible film. And his review was better than the film. And I read it, it was half a star. He gave half a star to the film. And he used to write for Midday then. And I read it out to all the cast. It's so funny, you see how he's described all of you. And they said, you're laughing at this. It's very funny. He's called one of the actors, so actors had started getting obsessed with body at that time. Like Hrithik Roshan had made everybody obsessed with body. So before the take, all those actors used to do push-ups. So I said, he wrote about one of them. He says, and as for Baby Dara Singh, so he had described them in those terms, and I found it hilarious.
I'm glad that you were able to find humor in that. But no, I will let you go there. But thank you so much for the wisdom, for the perspective, and we will always root for the kinds of stories you want to champion. And I can't wait to see everything the production house has in store.
Thank you. Thank you, Suchin.
Before we go, a quick word on Mubi, your one-stop shop for meaningful cinema from around the globe. You can try Mubi for free for 30 days by visiting mubi.com/thestreamingshow2025.
This week, I recommend you check out Dia Kolumbigishvili's April. The Georgian filmmaker's second feature, which is produced by Luca Guadagnino, follows Nina, a doctor who carries out illegal abortions in her village in rural Georgia. After a delivery goes tragically wrong under her watch, she faces intense scrutiny from the community, which threatens to crumble her solitary life and career. April is at once vast and suffocating in its examination of loneliness of women living under patriarchal rule. The narrative shifts between reality and the nightmarish imagery of a fantasy-like world featuring flashes of a strange humanoid creature to bring Nina's fractured being to life. It's this very unapologetic refusal to explain itself that makes April such a striking watch. Dia Kolumbigishvili is a filmmaker with a sublime control over the medium and the emotional state of her audience. April is a mesmerizing look at the duality of life that is at once brutal and beautiful, heartfelt and harrowing, desolate and devastating. You can watch April on Mubi.